hyperlapse can be defined as a technique in time-lapse photography for creating motion shots. In its simplest form, a hyperlapse is achieved by moving the camera a short distance between each frame. And today, Willis and I are going to try achieve this without actually having to physically move. And we'll do this through the metro train tunnel. And I mean, we still will be physically moving, but not us, it'll be the train that's moving. But yeah, anyways, my name is Will, also known as itizwil on Instagram.
I'm Willis, or willis.newman over on Insta. That's enough from us, let's go do it.
So the first thing you have to worry about is having the right settings on your camera. And for this technique, you want to use a slower shutter speed. And I'd say something between 1/4 of a second to 1/15 of a second to make sure you get those blurred lines.
And then to accommodate for that, the aperture and the ISO pretty much just remain at whatever's going to keep the shutter speed all exposed.
Yeah.
So because we're doing a low shutter speed, we want to exaggerate the motion blur in the frame. And through doing this, we're going to accommodate with a high aperture usually, and then an ISO relevant to that.
Yeah.
Alright, so the next most important factor is the gear you use. I hate to say it's the gear you use, but it's important for this shot. A 14mm is the lens that I used last time. You can use anywhere from a 14 to 35mm, just so that you get as much detail in the tunnel as possible. But that's it. If you have a wide angle lens, you should be sorted.
So the last thing you want to worry about is actually taking the photos. And what I'm going to do is press the camera lens up to the glass, and this will cut out all the reflections. It'll also keep the camera stable so that we have no motion blur apart from the actual tunnel going past. I'm just going to hold my finger on the shutter button and have it in a continuous burst mode to make sure we get as many photos in the tunnel as possible. But yeah, let's take the photos.
Alright, so now for the editing side of things. It's pretty simple, I'm just going to run you through it. So I've imported all my photos here into Lightroom, as you can see at the bottom, and I'm just going to select the first photo and we're going to apply our edit to the first one. So I'm just going to go through my presets here and probably choose Urban King once again. It's the go-to preset. And then I'm just going to make some minor adjustments until I'm happy with it. Alright, I think I'm happy with that. And I've just cropped in so that the tunnel is in the center of the frame. And I've also put it 9:16 for vertical content. So once you're happy with your first edit, just scroll to the end photo, select that, and then sync them all together. And I'm just going to make sure I have checked all and then synchronize. And after it's done that, we can see all our photos have our color grade on it, which is exactly what we want. Next, we're just going to select all our photos again and press Command-Shift-E. And this is to export our photos into a folder ready for our video. Okay, so now we have all our photos exported into our folder and we have our video editing software in the background. The one I'm using is Adobe Premiere Pro, but you can use any video editing software for this. So we're going to drag all our photos into the timeline. Next, what you want to do is select all our frames and change the duration. And this is up to preference, but you want the photos to be relatively short as this is going to act as a frame for the video. I'm just going to try set the photos to 4 frames and you want to make sure you tick ripple edit. Now as we can see, all our frames are a lot shorter, and if I click play, I might actually switch this to 2 frames instead. And yeah, I think 2 frames looks a little bit better to me. But that's pretty much it for the editing process. I can show you a sneaky trick, which you can do now. All you want to do is right click and click nest. And now what we're going to do is basically just play with some of the positioning, rotation, and scale. I'm going to set a keyframe here, position, scale, rotation. Maybe we can make it turn halfway. And if we go back between our keyframes, there you go, it creates a little bit of a trippy effect. And it just adds some interest to your video. I personally like the look of this because it feels like I'm flying through the tunnel and makes it a bit more interactive. But yeah, that's the idea in its simplest form. And I'm going to play with the position, scale, and rotation. Maybe put some sound effects in there or some music, and I'll show you on screen now. And that wraps up the video. If you did enjoy, consider giving a like or a subscribe. Oh, don't. Or even just leave a comment down below if you enjoyed the video. All the photos in this video were edited with my Lightroom presets, which are available in the link down below. And you can also see the final results of this hyperlapse over on my Instagram, itizwil, and I'll put the link down below. But nonetheless, enjoy. In its simplest form, a hyperlapse... You're looking out the window.